Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, world. This is Rebecca Simon Peter on location in nature for Leadership Mojo. I'm so pleased to be with you today. And today's Leadership Mojo is really how not to lead. It's how to be led by the Holy Spirit, how to tap into sunrise spirituality, how to tap into the divine through nature, how to get yourself replenished and restored. I was talking with my dad yesterday morning as I was hiking the hiking trail that's here. I'm here in Utah. I'm leading a workshop and enjoying the nature that's all around me. I talked to my dad yesterday morning. He said, "Well, if there was, well, if you had to give up everything else but one thing, what would that one thing be?" I was like, "Hiking, hiking." Just hiking is my absolute favorite thing to do. I remember when I was a young person, my boyfriend at the time introduced me to the joys of hiking. And there was something so lovely about being on a trail that was human sized. It wasn't any bigger, trees on either side, rubbing up against the shoulders. And just this was New England, just the beauty of nature and the wonder of it all. I fell in love even before then, but especially then and since then, um, feeling the immediacy of God. I don't know that I would have put it that way when I was 20 or 18, but I know now it's the immediacy of God. It's the whispered connections of the Creator through the creation. It's the well, science would call it biorhythms and ionic exchange and things like that. But what happens when we're in nature, when we're around water, when we're around trees? There's a chemical, biological, spiritual, religious, neurological, relational magic that happens that calms everything down. So I'm here to talk to you today about what it's like to be under clear skies, to have a clear mind, to work on your own spirituality, and to take that time away. There are so many pressures on the church leader these days. I don't have to tell you. We've been through a pandemic. We're in contentious political times. The world is in much greater need of what we have to offer. And yet, many of us find that worship attendance is down by 50%. We're juggling a lot. We're juggling an awful lot. And it is so important to take the time to replenish your soul, and to really spend important time quietly with your own soul in nature with God. The scriptures are full of wonderful examples, especially in the Psalms, of the beauty and the restorative power of nature and how God speaks to us through nature. And even Jesus spent lots of time away. And yes, the disciples caught up with him. Yes, he nary got a moment alone. But boy, he sure did try to have that quiet time with God. And I want to encourage you to do the same. I think you're going to find that it's more than worth the time to get away from the phone, to get away from the computer screen, to get away from planning and prepping, and to just really work on or embrace your own spirituality. I find so often as spiritual leaders, we neglect our own spirits because everything else is pressing. So, this is me, Rebecca Simon Peter, telling you, church leader, get away from it all. Do like Jesus did and spend time away from the maddening crowd so that you can get replenished. What can you do to start? Start where you are, even if it's just sitting among the potted plants in your house and gazing at their leaves, or looking out the window at the sky at sunset or at sunrise if you can see the sky. Stepping outside in the starry night, even if the clouds are there, and breathing in the fresh air. Any one of these ways is a way to start. Secondly, when you're in nature, whether it's one of those very beginning steps or you're full out outside camping or hiking or sitting by a river or in the desert with the cactus, wherever you may be, or in an urban setting in a park, which can be absolutely lovely, um, practice being where your feet are. your mind's going to take over. I'm just going to tell you that. You're going to be out there and your mind's going to take over and you're going to think, I got to do this, I got to do that. If you're anything like me, that's okay. Just take the attention from your mind back to where your feet are. Put your attention where your feet are. So number one, you'll find out what day you're in. You'll find out what time of day you are in, and also where you are. When you put your attention back on your feet, you'll just get present to the present moment. And that's a lovely way to ground yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up for the mind taking off. Just ground yourself again. And then one of my favorite things to do is to place my hand over my heart, because when I do that, I'm in touch with the heart center. I'm also in touch with where spirit meets flesh, because right there, feeling the breath rising and falling in the chest, that's where God's spirit meets our flesh. And that's a beautiful way to get present to God. Another way that I like to get present to God when I'm out in nature is to simply begin thanking God, really like a running gratitude list, or if I'm with somebody else, I call it gratitude ping pong, back and forth, back and forth. What are you grateful for? That's a beautiful way to raise the spirits. Apologize for the background noise, but there it is. There's stuff going on here, even though it's a beautiful setting. And gratitude ping pong, or just a long string of gratitudes. I find that when I do that between me and God, it really takes away all the worries, the nervousness that I have about a variety of things, and that's a lot of noise. Takes that all away and just really gets me present to being with God in the beauty of nature, and not bothered, by background thoughts, background noises, but really focuses my attention on the divine, the creator, and my soul, which I think of as God within me, my inner divinity. So this leadership mojo, just to remind you, is to get away from it all as much as you can and let the mind go, connect with God, connect with the heart, take small steps, whatever you need to do to just put yourself in that frame of refreshment, because renewal begins within. You care about your church, you care about your community, you care about the world, but there's no fixing any of that. There's no fixing any of that. There's no fixing it, because if there could have been fixed, it would have been fixed by now. But there is renewal, and renewal begins with the soul, with the spirit, with physicality. And then from there, new ideas will come to you, new ways of bringing renewal to the situations around you will arise, and that will be a thing of beauty. But start with yourself. Start with yourself. We cannot renew others. We cannot replenish others. We cannot inspire others if we ourselves are not participating in that kind of life. So I pray for you this summer, or perhaps it's winter if you're down under, but during this season, to renew and replenish yourself with the Spirit of God, touching into your own inner divinity so that you can lead with some mojo. But this is your time for mojo. So thank you so much for listening. A pleasure to be with you. If you found this inspiring, I invite you to share, get reminded of our next Leadership Mojo coming up next week. And if you're offline, that's okay too, because that's part of self-renewal. So thank you so much for being here. I look forward to our next time together. God bless you. Bye.